And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network, the GSMC Podcasting Network. So make sure you guys hit up that notification button, that subscribe, the like, the share. Share this podcast with all your favorite wrestling fans out there, and this will be a nice little platform for us all to have some fun. So we recently talked about some Monday Night Raw. Make sure you guys check out that video. Make sure you guys sound off in the comments section. Let me know how you feel. But now we're going to talk about some WWE Friday Night Smackdown. But before we do any of that, just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Just so remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network here, the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But in terms of talking sports, even wrestling, it's inevitable. There's going to be some disagreements. There's going to be some high criticisms. But guess what? It's already water under the bridge. It's all good. There's no such thing as bad comment. I want to make sure you guys feel absolutely comfortable to share, to bare your soul to your favorite friend, your man, Eric Rodriguez at the GSMC Sports Network. So, don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed, go ahead and, whatever you guys put inside that little chat box is going to ultimately be guaranteed. But if you want to show a little bit of love, go ahead and hit up that super chat right there, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome, and together we will make sure this is the best wrestling podcast in the whole entire world. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your love and support obviously helps us keep producing all the sports content that you guys love so damn much. And guess what? It's absolutely FREE free once you subscribe. So, great way to support the channel, guys. 1,010%. All right, so without further ado, we have some WWE Smackdown. So, Smackdown began. It was decent. It was a nice little, in Seattle, Washington. I love the pairing, Joe Tessitore and Ray Barrett. I definitely think they're, pretty badass. Randy Orton comes out, obviously, talks to Nick Aldis about his future in WrestleMania 41. Seems like it's not really going to be there, but of course, the person that answers or interrupts the promo ultimately is the match that he's going to get. We get Solo Sikoa. I don't hate Solo Sikoa. I like Solo Sikoa. The whole thing with the new Bloodline thing, I thought maybe it was a little misrealmed, a little misjudged a little bit. But if you kind of think about it, Solo Sikoa is a huge reason why Roman Reigns turned into the biggest babyface once when he came back at SummerSlam last year. It took Solo Sikoa to be such a... I don't want to say the word because, I can't say it. But it took him to be such a cocky, arrogant, self-absorbed, just a nasty, gross individual that you have to turn on the TV and kind of see. And the way he was running rampant all over SmackDown. It was a doozy. Obviously, it caused all the wrestling fans to shift over to the favor of the OTC, Roman Reigns. So in the end, Solo Sikoa, I feel like he deserves a lot of credit for that. Wasn't really successful during the whole run. He did pin Roman Reigns. Went for the WWE Championship. Didn't really come in fruition. But at the end of the day, he put Roman Reigns on the map as a huge, absolute huge babyface. So hey, throwing some flowers right there, baby. Hell yeah. So we might get Randy Orton take on Solo Sikoa. Not really creative. I kind of don't like it. A lot of people were hoping for Nick Aldis to fight Randy Orton at Mania. Me personally, Aleister Black also being thrown in the mix. Rusev, who recently signed back with the WWE. I kind of thought, Sami Zayn hasn't turned down, the fact that he might come back at WrestleMania, for a match. He teams up with Randy, Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa. They fight, and then bam, that whole thing happens. Sami Zayn and Randy Orton get a feel-good win at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Or maybe potentially we'll finally get that guy that's been waiting in the wings for so long, Hiko Leo, finally making his debut on, because he's been on the WWE page for quite some time now. So that's, actually last time I checked, I didn't think I saw him. Maybe they changed their mind. Or Tonga Loba, maybe, and then maybe this new young bloodline, maybe they start to turn around a little bit. But, now it kind of, gravitates toward Jakob Fatu, which is more of a better storyline and in my opinion 1,010%. So that should be interesting. All right, next we have the women's tag team gauntlet match. Of course, you have the women's world tag team champions Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez sitting ringside. So we get Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. I kind of reiterate on this show over and over again that even they did this for the men's tag team for a little bit, for more than a little bit, for a lot of bit. You have two singles wrestlers, Bayley in the main event. The mid-card title looks so weak that you have to put Lyra Valkyria in a world tag team. She's not finding anybody at WrestleMania, which is awful, which is absolutely awful, which should not be, it shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that whatsoever. So now you have a gauntlet match. First people coming out, Pure Fusion Collective without Sonya Deville doesn't really have that same vibe. They still lost, so I guess they're still sticking to their MO. I'm just kidding. No, I say this with a heavy heart because I love Shayna Baszler and I love Zoe Stark, and I thought this PFC formation with Sonya Deville was going to be so much more successful than it actually kind of turned out to be, which is a damn shame. 1,010%. They get eliminated. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria are still alive. Natalya and Maxine Dupree, they get knocked out easily. Actually, Natalya was actually seemed kind of furious with Maxine Dupree and her decisions during the match. Next come out Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, and the actual tag team of the tag team gauntlet match, and they lost as well. So I thought that was crazy. Meet Chin and B-Fab, they come out too as well. They lose. And, finally at the end, we get the Secret Hervis, Piper Niven, and Alba Fire with Chelsea Green. Obviously, didn't really work out. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria win the gauntlet match. They will be taking on the world, women's tag team champions, which I feel like will be a nice little segue for, I know, recently you've seen the post by Becky Lynch saying that I hate wrestling. I don't want to come back. That's just... Guys, come on. Let's be smarter than that. We're wrestling fans. We've heard worse, and then bam, they're at WrestleMania. I feel like ultimately, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, I feel like they'll win this match at WrestleMania. Dominic Mysterio will be ringside with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Last time you saw Dominic Mysterio threw the cage door into Becky Lynch's face, costing her the WWE Women's World Heavyweight Champion. So, poetic justice, she comes out to help take out Dominic Mysterio and keep it like an honest match. How I feel more confident that with the belts being on Morgan and Raquel, but they had a reign before that lasted I think like 40 days. So it wouldn't really surprise me if they dropped the belts here. And it looks like Judgment Day is literally on the edge of imploding with Dominic Mysterio feuding with Finn Balor. With JD McDonough out. Finn Balor does not want to add another member. It's all over. It's done. It's done. It's just going to be... Hopefully at WrestleMania, maybe this will be the end of the Judgment Day. And I say hopefully not because I hate everybody in Judgment Day. It's just that this been dragging on for so long. You cut out Rhea Ripley, you cut out Damian Priest, you cut out ultimately the soul that Judgment Day is. Finn Balor, the leader, absolutely on Monday Night Raw in many cases has looked like a pissed off teenager not getting what he wants, and he looks weak. He doesn't look like a main eventer, like a lot of wrestling fans do. For me personally, I love Finn Balor. I would love to see him hold a WWE Championship once again, but this Finn Balor. This whole Judgment Day thing, it's bad. And, it's only going to get worse. One of those things where you rip off the Band-Aid fast. If the longer you keep it on, the more it's going to hurt your product. So, pretty crazy. But, we shall see what happens, at WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair attacks Tiffany Stratton out in the backstage. Not backstage, but, out in the parking lot. And you see Tiffany Stratton screaming her head off. Get off me, girl! It's just like, oh, God, After this promo, I kind of knew that I was like, all right, All right. Backstage, you have Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, working side by side. They're literally probably like this. The more and more you're like this, the more and more you can kind of, joke about things that are actually kind of real. Like Tiffany Stratton bringing up the whole, the marriages and stuff like that, and her dad and her, the alcoholism and stuff like that. So, and the failed marriages. So it's like, I feel like both of them really want this match to be an absolute banger. So much drama surrounded by it, and they want to steal the show. And at this point, I feel like they did their job. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I looked at this match and I was like, dude, give the belt back to Charlotte. Give the belt back to Charlotte. Tiffany, she frozen on the mic, not really knowing how to cut a promo, not really knowing how to like kind of stick up for herself a little bit. And I was like, all right, something needs to change. I get why Charlotte Flair won the Royal Rumble now. But now I feel like right now the match is 50-50. It went from me completely, being, and I was like, okay, Charlotte should get the belt. But in reality, I was like, okay, why would they do this to Tiffany? I feel like Tiffany Stratton and Jey Uso are kind of stuck in the same boat here. They were, building up all this momentum since they made it onto their respected, brands ever since, Jey Uso became main event, Jey Uso, a single star. I don't know. I just, I just, if Tiffany Stratton drops the belt, I wouldn't understand it. I wouldn't understand it 1,010%. But, I don't know. Ultimately crazy. Next, to Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre come face to face. I definitely thought it was a nice promo to heading into their street fight at WrestleMania. Next, we have Rey Fenix taking on Humberto Carrillo of Los Garza, Legado del Fantasma. Rey Fenix, absolutely impressive. And, Humberto's kind of cut, he's being shut out by Santos backstage. And, of course, you have Andrade kind of coming up and, putting the armor, kind of being the big brother there, being like, hey, man, you fought one hell of a match. And it was super awesome. Chelsea Green takes on Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega gets a victory. I kind of been, I've been banking on Zelina Vega to get back into, like, the main bookings and storylines on WWE Smackdown. So I'd love for her win here, but since the addition of the Secret Service, I kind of feel like maybe now they're kind of banking on a long run by Chelsea Green. I feel like Lyra Valkyria will drop her title before Green does, because now she has backup. Because before I was like, okay, Piper Niven, Chelsea Green treats Piper Niven like trash. And, Piper Niven's going to snap, bam, cost her the title, she'll drop it to somebody. But now that it's like, now that it's like a thing, a woman faction on SmackDown, I feel like, it's not really going to, her title reign's not really going to go anywhere. But Zelina Vega just fighting in the championship match would be, pretty badass. Next, we see a promo between Jade Cargill and Naomi. It was good. It was good. It served its purpose. I do like this new darker side of Naomi. I kind of hope she does pick up the win here, and I think their match is night 1, or night 2. I'm not too sure. I got to double check that. And then if you have Bianca Belair help Naomi out, that would be pretty badass, and kind of building up toward their heel as a women's tag team run, and they can actually go after the women's world tag team championships. It would be pretty damn interesting. It would be pretty cool. Next, we got to hear from the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes, and this promo was basically just to keep setting up the main event for a night 2. Basically talking about everybody's quest as the WWE Championship, talking about the spinner belt, and the way ultimately the way Cody Rhodes was kind of talking, it kind of seemed like he left a lot of doors open. And what I mean by that is, like, when you kind of have these open-ended statements where you say something and then you're like, okay, if Cody Rhodes along the lines turns heel, then you could be like, oh my God, we should have all seen it coming. So, then he was like praising Cena a lot as well, saying that he fights with his heart, and but that's that was basically it. Cody Rhodes, typical babyface promo, did what it had to do, but it's seems kind of badass. John Cena will be on SmackDown next week. We'll also have, do I read this right? The men's Andre the Giant Battle Royal. We got Zelina Vega, Katana Chance, and Kitty Carter taking on Chelsea Green and the Secret Service. And we have a WWE Championship match, the Street Profits and Motor City Machine Guns, which I kind of hate. I feel like this match should have been on WrestleMania. I really thought that they were gearing up toward like a fatal 5-way or 4-way ladder match or something like that. You know, like, why not? Why not? I want this match to be screwed up so freaking bad. I want Pretty Deadly out there. I want DIY. Los Garza come. I want to see everybody out there. This is a damn shame that we did not get this tag team ladder match, because it's been such a... The tag team division on SmackDown has been absolutely on fire, and it seems like that fire quickly fizzled out, which sucks. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about some AEW Dynamite Spring Breakthrough preview. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.